Hello YouTube, welcome back to Yassi Lap Guides. My name is Sir Foch, and today we are taking the Lambo around Watkins Glen. Absolutely fantastic track, super fun to drive. The Lambo here also feels fantastic, so the combo is one of the more enjoyable ones in ACC. However, I have a distinct skill issue here, so I really struggle to get the most out of the cars that drive on this track for some reason or another. Something about this track just doesn't suit me, even though I really enjoy driving it. Just can't really find the ultimate pace, which leads to not the best lap times. The focus on this setup in general, though, was safety over lap time, so the chicane is very forgiving, the acceleration very forgiving. Generally, the car is a tank, and the throttle control, while optional, is definitely not gonna be the biggest focus while driving. So you can floor the car in my engine map 5 with TC3 quite easily. There's definitely more lap time there if you go lower on electronics, so that is definitely something to consider. Last sector is probably the slowest one of them all. I mean, you have that hairpin that we went through, but this section is the trickiest one. Also, the track has a lot of cambered corners, giving you the ability to carry more speed than you really should be able to through the radius of corners that you're taking. So that's something to keep in mind. Can be quite misleading on how much corner or speed you can actually carry. The brake boards here are in yards, and we're braking before, or no, just after the 200-yard board. I'm actually not looking at the yards for that one, though. I'm looking at the rubber line on the road, as those yard boards are really close together and can be tricky to spot the right one. But the rubber line will do you good as well. Moving to the right of the track in the uphill S's as soon as possible to shorten the track distance. Here we're braking at the 300-yard board, and we can drive on the curves really well. Probably want to downshift after the first curve down to 4th. If you lift in time here, you don't really need to touch the brake if the line is good. If you're a bit wide, then can touch the brake a little bit. Here we're braking before the rubbered line. Can keep the car in 3rd or downshift to 2nd. A relatively free choice. Here I'm braking when the right 100-meter board leaves the screen, this is definitely a corner where lower TC will probably yield a little bit better results, with the downside of having to worry about the oversteer. Here we're braking after the wide board. There's a little lighter patch of gravel on the left side of the track. You can see those and adjust your braking point accordingly. Here we're braking at the second black sign on either side. And for this corner, we're just turning in and lifting, turn in between the 200 and 100-yard boards. And here we use the tires on the right as our braking reference, downshift to 3rd, and go to as close to the wall as possible without bonking it like I did there. So here is our setup, and one thing to note is that negative toe for some reason works exceptionally well here. It must be the cambered surface, but the more negative toe you go, the faster it seems that the car can go as well. So maybe even maxing the negative toe could be a way to find some lap time, but definitely negative toe is king on this track. I found that in the Ferrari to be true as well, so cannot really be a coincidence. So negative toe, definitely nothing to shy away from on this circuit. Once again, like I said, probably lower maps will yield you better results with sacrificing some of that comfort, I guess, on the corner exits. Mechanical grip wise, pretty standard stuff here. Very low roll bar to get some of that rotation, because generally the biggest issue in finding pace here is just the rotation at high speed without like going full ballistic on the slower speed. So this is what I've ended up. Definitely can be fine-tuned. Damper wise, we're also running quite a bit of bump damper to get that rotation on throttle, but like I said, all of this can be tweaked. We're running the lowest wheel rate on the rear for the traction out of the slower corners, but we're also running quite a bit of bump stop rate on the rear, which really helps with the stability in the chicane. It stops the car from bottoming out and bouncing uncontrollably, but probably lowering this and taking a safer line through the chicane could yield better lap times, but if you take the chicane wrong, you might end up in a wall. That being said, this is the aero tab. Maybe can get a bit more rake and also a bit higher brake bias just for the stability and turn in for the chicane. So that is the setup. I'll send you off with the hot lap and I'll see you on the next one.